This video is for men who are still living in the past and who are trapped in certain narratives. In today's video, I'm going to be talking specifically in the context of relationships, because a lot of us men are obsessed about getting back together with our ex-girlfriend, maybe wife, partner. And so this kind of thing can create a very toxic dynamic in our own lives, and it can serve as a paralysis, waiting, hoping that she will come back, she will fulfill me, save me, etc. And this is not allowing us to move forward, and it often keeps men stuck in life for years. It's like a mental, emotional prison. In my case, what I realized was that I had been following, identifying with, and also heavily attached and invested in a certain narrative. And this narrative was about my twin flame journey, or twin flame reunion. And for those of you who are a bit familiar with spiritual new age stuff, you've probably heard certain labels, narratives, twin flames, soulmates. There's others like the one and only, or love of my life, or divine union, or sacred union, etc. And I'm not saying or trying to attack these labels, that all of them are 100% wrong and they only do disservice to people, and that they are fake and they don't exist. No, that's not my take. What I am saying, that for certain people these labels can be actually harmful and detrimental, because these narratives to them serve as a control mechanism. Yeah, people feel that they are in a way more in control when they follow or identify with these narratives. But what actually is happening underneath this surface level control is deep-seated hidden fears. Fears of being abandoned, rejected, not chosen, disappointed, yeah? Feeling grief, sadness, when you follow certain narrative, like you feel like there is more certainty. That's why it feels like you're more in control and it's less scary. So I'm not here to judge anyone or discourage, not at all. Opposite. I've been there. What this narrative of twin flame did for me was it served for me as an enabler of keeping me stuck longer in the dynamic of pain and suffering. And I came up with different excuses and justifications for my decisions and choices that kept me in the suffering and pain, and that, yeah, I basically said to myself, the sacrifice for this is worthwhile, because in the end it will turn around good. kind of like, in this way you can see that it's like a gaslighting, yeah? Because in my case, what happened was also I had certain needs and desires while I was heavily identified with this narrative. But there was fear and kind of like feeling of guilt and shame that if I met these certain needs and desires, that would interfere with me getting back with my twin flame, with my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. So I decided not to meet these certain needs and desires. For example, physical intimacy. Yeah. With a woman. I pedestalized this future scenario or the outcome of me getting back together with my twin flame, and that was the most important thing in my life. Everything else was subordinate to that, yeah, including certain needs that I thought were in the way of this outcome. And so my life stopped. I became more like a passive observer. And I was just waiting, hoping that my behavior will eventually be rewarded for my loyalty. What it also did was it made me feel more disempowered, because I was heavily reliant on the external force, call it how you want, God's grace, divine, universe, whatever. And I relied less on my own agency. And here is dichotomy, because on one hand, identifying with this narrative made me feel that I'm more in control, which made me feel more empowerment. But at the same time, when I didn't rely on my own power, that didn't make me feel empowered. So on one hand empowered, on the other hand not empowered. And both can be true at the same time. During the course of around 3.5 years, I reached out to my ex-girlfriend a couple of times, let's say once in a 6 month or something like that, and she never responded to me back. And each time that happened, that would trigger something within me. Each time I would feel some kind of heartbreak, a layer of heartbreak, and I would feel it different each time, different feelings and emotions, because I couldn't access it all at once and process it all at once in one time, one and done, yeah? So it got divided. I needed to do this multiple times. And it was necessary for me to feel these multiple instances of rejection and you could say heartbreaks, multiple heartbreaks, because each time a certain layer of the illusion would break off, until when it happened the last time, like something significantly shifted within me. I felt in a, you could say, polar opposite ways. On one hand, there was still part of me that felt grief and sadness that she didn't react at all to my messages. But on the other side, there was also part of me that finally it felt relief. Yeah? Felt like, oh my goodness, I've given a permission slip to be more free in my life, to actually start to pursue what is important to me and meet certain needs and desires. That felt really good, really empowering. I felt excitement, joy, this powerful rush of energy. All of the desires and needs that got postponed as a result of this narrative were given a green light right now. And the illusions dropped that I was in a control or that I could forcefully control the outcome. So the big lesson that I learned from this insight is that if it's meant to be, it will happen. Life will rearrange itself and create space for it. But you cannot force it prematurely. And you cannot stop living and just waiting for the future outcome that may or may not come. Yeah, you cannot be passive, minimize your needs and desires, and not meet them. This is like a death, not living. You have to live fully now. And if you look at some of the most attractive men in today's world, they are active, they are engaged, present, pursuing their passion, their purpose. And even more importantly, they're happy. So stop waiting for a certain narrative to save you. Yeah? Reclaim your power and become again the main character in your own life, not pedestalizing someone else as the main character in your life and not you. Let me ask you something. What narrative are you still following that keeps you stuck, keeps you passive, blocked in life? Share it with others in the comment section and let's encourage each other through our shared experiences. And if you are ready to stop waiting and start living, subscribe more for my content. And I'll see you in the next video.